Hey, are you fasting, bro?
Hey everyone, a.k.a. Hadi, fasting, bro. So this is the second part of my take on keto, the best approach to low carb dieting in my opinion. You can watch the first part by clicking here. The first time I did keto, it was around September 2013. In just 3 brief months, I went from 78 kilos to 60 kilos, keeping in mind that I had a couple of 1-week break from the diet during these times. I also went on a business trip for 5 days during the period, which prevented me from dieting. So as you can see, when I said keto is the fastest way to lose weight in my previous videos, I really mean it. So what is my personal way of doing keto? I incorporated intermittent fasting with keto, and this boosted the results. Boom! Chicken wow wow! 30 grams of carbs daily, 0.7 grams per pound body weight of protein, and between 90 grams to 120 grams of fat intake. I had 1 day of carb refeed every week, and this wasn't a cheat day kind of carb refeed. I was still watching my calories, making sure I eat a substantial amount of carb, keeping protein intake the same as other days of the week, and most importantly, my fat intake would never exceed 50 grams. So how do you get started on keto? First of all, the most important, you should consult a physician before starting keto, especially if you have kidney or heart problems. Or if you really want to do it my way, try out keto for a few days and see how your body is reacting to it. If you don't experience major pain, then you're good to go. Of course, to avoid from getting sued, I don't recommend this by the way. Chances are if you've done low carb dieting in the past, you won't have any problems with keto. Secondly, you need to figure out your macro. Typically, your macros should be 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbs. I'll include a link in the description of a popular website that I used in the past to calculate my keto macros. What types of food to eat on a keto diet? First, ask yourself, how strict do you want to be? If you want to be very strict, then you have to calculate every single thing that you plan to eat. But if you want to make keto fun, especially if you plan to do this for more than 3 months, then just chill and be a bit lenient. Relax, bro! For carbs, it's important to remember that these will only come from your veggies and maybe some little carbs from your protein and fat sources like cheese and creams. Because if you eat rice, potatoes, oats, and so on, you will be kicked out of ketosis by the time you're feeling full. For your protein and fat sources, this is the fun part. You can pick any kinds of meat, be it lean meat like chicken breast and tuna, or red meat like chicken wings and steaks. There is absolutely no limits in keto diet as to what types of meat you can eat. Lambs, salmon, as long as you can afford it, then no problemo. Unfortunately for me though, in my country, lambs, steaks, and salmons are often expensive. So I stick with chicken most of the time. The advantage to picking chicken as your meat is that your calories at the end of the day will be lower than picking salmons or steaks. The disadvantage though is that you also end up with less fat intake. So you need to fill your fat macro with other foods. Which brings me to my next point, keto snacks. If you search on Google, you will come up with a lot of ideas for keto snacks. In this video, I'm only going to reveal my personal favorite keto snacks. Cheese slices. cheese sticks, olive oil, butter, peanut butter, almond nuts, low-carb dark chocolate, protein bars. Alright guys, I'm gonna head back to my cave now and continue fasting. I'll see you in the next video. Live longer.
Seriously, you clicked on this video, so click the subscribe button now. I'll wait. I have all night. I'll wait. I have all night. You done it yet? Seriously, you done it yet?